What is going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, a big box good. The Columbia Slack-Tide Lace Dockside PFG sneaker I picked up at the Columbia outlet store for $35. Let's go ahead and take a look at the details of it. Similar to what you might find at Sperry, for example, it's a Docksider with non-slip grip at the bottom, something you would maybe wear on a dock or on a boat. At $35, pretty inexpensive. You also might recall PFG in the name. We'll explain why. Let's go ahead, compare it to what you might normally wear around the water, like a pair of flip-flops. Talk about the styling, what I like, dislike about it. It was a bit inexpensive, so probably lesser quality materials than you might find compared to a real leather shoe. It's a fake leather, but that's okay. And most importantly, try it on and see how comfortable it is. It's a size 11. I tried it on in store, but let's get a better idea of how comfortable it is. We'll walk around in it. And like I said, check out the styling as well. Let's get into it. Okay, let's get started. So first thing is first, quality control is as important as ever. And here you can see, as usual with Columbia, good fit and finish, no threads sticking out, nothing you have to burn off or clip off, nothing uneven or cockeyed looking. Everything here is nicely put together, as you can see around the ankle collar here, which is usually a breaking point, or an Achilles heel I should say, for shoes of this price range in a below $50 category. I would summarize. Usually shoes of that price have quality control issues around the collar, but not here. You can also see the stitching actually around the laces here is pretty much perfect. I don't see any thread sticking out other than on the left hand side, but it's hardly noticeable, and it's actually where the stitching ends. So I think we can go ahead and give Columbia credit for the overall fit and finish of this shoe. Style points, maybe a bit boring or maybe just a bit lacking, but then again, khaki or tan is something you can wear pretty much with anything, and also it's got features to boot, so maybe styling isn't at the forefront of a shoe like this. As you can see, not a whole lot of contrast because the laces themselves are the same color as the shoe itself, but like I said, styling probably not at the forefront. Quality control definitely is, but now that we've talked about styling and we can see just how good of quality this shoe is at its given price point, let's take a look at some of the features. So now that we've talked about quality control and styling, we covered that briefly, let's take a look at some of the features this shoe offers, starting with the sole of the shoe. So similar to a skateboarding shoe actually, because it kind of resembles a skateboarding shoe in the styling, is the fact it has a flat sole. It's a flat surface, maybe compared or in comparison or in contrast, I should say, to a running shoe which might have cushions at the bottom. This is flat, so water isn't pooling underneath the arc of your foot, causing you to slip. Also, you'll notice that it's a coarse texture. As you can see, it's got this glossy sheen or additional texture or coating over top the sole that is coarse, which actually allows it to better grip slippery surfaces. So you can see it's got this coarse, grippy texture at the bottom in contrast to maybe like a skateboard shoe with just a simple rubber sole. But most importantly, similar to what you would find on a Sperry Docksider, it has grooves. You can see that those valleys push water off to the sides, at the front and at the back, and couple that with the flat surface and coarse texture make this a non-slip shoe. What I respect the most about the design of this shoe is its removable foot orthotic, which actually allows you to better dry it if you get it wet. So maybe after a long day on the boat, you take this shoe off, it's wet, remove the foot orthotic so it dries quicker and water doesn't remain inside, soaking up, maybe causing it to smell or have a weird feeling inside, like a grimy feeling you might get with some Sperry Docksiders I know, for example. Also, what you'll notice about the sole is it's pretty thick at the back, which makes it comfortable, but also thin at the front, which allows you to remain flexible. And also, one feature I find common in other Columbia shoes is drainage, but here, as you can see, it's non-existent. So, not a water shoe, just a Docksider. And last but most importantly not least, in the title of the shoe, it says it's a PFG. Now, contrast this to a sandal. What you'll realize is this is closed-toed, as where a sandal, like a slide or a flip-flop, is open-toed. Those shoes are exposed to the sun's harmful rays. Your feet are exposed to the sun's harmful rays. I, as someone who wears sandals, burn my feet constantly wearing them. Having a closed-toed shoe like this will ensure that your foot stays away or out of the sun's harmful rays. Okay, so first impressions with the shoe on for the first time. As you might remember from when I removed the foot orthotic, it's got a thicker foot orthotic at the back of the shoe and a thinner one for flexibility at the front of the shoe, and that is true. It's extremely comfortable at the heel. It's soft, it's cushiony, not pillow-like, but springy. It adds spring to your step, even though it's a flat bottom. And also what you'll realize is it's got a pretty sleek profile. It looks really nice, actually, even though it doesn't have all that much contrast. I think what saves it is the fact that it does have a pretty sleek and slender profile, making it somewhat attractive looking. I would buy this true to size, but also test it out with a thicker sock. Maybe if you want to wear this out to dinner and wear it with a sock. I would normally wear this without a sock because it's a deck shoe and you're around water. But I think had I worn a sock with it, as you can see, I am not wearing socks, I probably would have gone for an 11.5. It doesn't feel like it's pinching anywhere. Of course, I'll have to wear it for a few hours, but so far, so good. Again, with the sole of the shoe having those grooves in it, this would be fantastic for wearing in slippery environments.
And last but not least, searching this shoe online, you'll find there are 3 different versions or variations of it. First is our version, the slack-tied lace Dockside shoe. It comes in 2 different colors, this mud brown and tan. You can tell it's a leather shoe because of its high sheen. Second is the slack-tied lace shoe. The difference between our shoe and this shoe is the material. Our shoe, like I said, was a fake leather. It's a leather material. This is a canvas. It's an upholstered material. Also 2 different color options, or excuse me, 4 different color options. This is also a PFG slack-tied, but it is not a Dockside like our leather version. So you get this slack-tied with the canvas upholstery, and then, of course, the lace Dockside, which is leather. And then last, but most importantly not least, the men's PFG slack-tied slip shoe, which come in 5 different color variations. All are similarly priced, so it depends on which style you like best or what fits you best, which is really good to see. So thank you, Columbia, for that.
Anyways, guys, that was the Sperry Dockside slack-tied PFG sneaker I picked up at Columbia. It was $35. Today we talked about the styling of it, similar to something you might find at Sperry. Sperry has a similar design shoe, also with non-slip grip. Just another quick shot of that. You can see it's a flat bottom, but it's a textured bottom. It's meant to stick to the deck of a boat and meant to be worn on the dockside around water, mostly fishing or being on a boat, that type of thing. Probably not something you would go jet skiing with or kayaking with perhaps, but I think you get the bigger picture here. It's also a stylish looking shoe, something you might wear to the beach, out to eat. And most importantly, like I mentioned earlier, it's a PFG. Having a shoe to protect your feet even from the sun's harmful rays is better than an open-toe shoe like a flip-flop, for example. So today we talked about all of these things. We took a closer look at the styling, the fit and finish. No quality control issues here. Really good stuff. At $35, it's a pretty good option at Columbia compared to something maybe from Sperry perhaps. My name is John. Thanks again so much for tuning in. Because I picked these up at Columbia, it makes them a big box good. Hit that like button, subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notified when I post to YouTube. Comment down below for more, and share this video with friends and family. My name is John. Thanks again so much for tuning in. I will see you in the next video.